Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of CurtDogg's Classics. I'm your host, of course, CurtDogg, and yes, I know it's been a while since I've recorded one of these episodes, but there's been some issues with the GoNintendo podcast recording and Rami Cowboy putting the things together. But I kind of sat on one episode, which was kind of in time with when I went down to Anime Expo. It was kind of had an anime theme, but I'm going to put that up on my YouTube account as a special lost episode, since it probably wouldn't be as relevant then as it would be now. So I'll put that up there. And as I've been also putting up some of my older CurtDogg Classics episodes on there as well. So if you want to head there, go to youtube.com/CurtDogg. That's CurtDogg, and you can find those episodes there, as well as some other crazy videos that I've done in the past. But anyway, let's get up to speed for this week. Now, this week, I've actually been really excited about something that's been playing on Teen Nick at midnight Eastern Time. It's a block called The 90s Are All That, which they've been playing a lot of old 90s shows from Nickelodeon. And let's see, they've been showing Clarissa Explains It All That, Kenan and Kel, and Doug. While I have no real, nostalgia for any Nickelodeon games, because, let's face it, pretty much every Nickelodeon game I've ever played has been absolutely terrible or mediocre. Don't get me started on that Nickelodeon Guts game that was on Super Nintendo. That was just beyond terrible. But I do want to talk about just one of my favorite shows from the 90s growing up anyway, while we're, on this nostalgia trip with the 90s and Nickelodeon and stuff like that. Well, actually, you know what? It's on Nickelodeon now. The current series is on Nickelodeon, which is Power Rangers. The current season's Power Rangers Samurai, but I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of my memories with Power Rangers as a whole. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't really watch any shows that had some sort of continuity to them or, overarching story. So when I first watched Power Rangers and they would actually continue the story from where it left off before and actually have some permanent changes, that just blew my mind. I was just mystified by, a show ever doing that. And, I've never really seen a show quite like it before. I mean, now I realize that all the fight footage they used, for the Rangers and the Zords was all taken from the Japanese series Zeo Ranger, which has been on the air for 35 years. They always have a different team of superheroes every year, like they do now. But I was absolutely hooked for years and years and years. Well, I stopped watching actually around Power Rangers Turbo, because it just got too silly then. But I took a look at Power Rangers in Space not too long ago, and yeah, I enjoyed that far more than I actually thought I would, because it actually had more of a story to it, throughout the whole series, instead of just random adventures each week. And that had a huge impact on my life in terms of just my personal tastes, and all the fight choreography and the music was just incredibly cool to me as a kid, and it actually still impresses me now. Some of the fight choreography, not so much the music, because it's well, yeah, the music fits with it, but it's so incredibly cheesy. Some of the just rad rock music that they throw in during the fights. It was just incredibly cheesy, but still a lot of fun. But to make this actually more about video games, I actually really enjoy the Super Nintendo version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which was actually a side-scrolling beat-em-up, which, oddly enough, didn't even have a multiplayer option, not even a two-player option. You just played it single-player straight through, unless you used a password that allowed you to do two-player Zord fights. But that didn't really... wasn't actually an advertised feature at all. But the beat-em-up was really fun. It was really basic. Even though all the character models had the same, character model, even Kimberly and Trini had a big, buff, muscular physique to them when they morphed. It was still really fun, and I have some fond memories of that, and the music was outstanding as well. I mean, they had the Token Power Rangers theme in there, like a 16-bit version, but some of the background music was actually pretty catchy, and That's what I'm actually going to play for you right now. This is stage 1 from the Super Nintendo version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so I hope this gets stuck in your head as much as it did when I was a kid. And if you want to check out Power Rangers right now, it's actually the entire series from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers all the way up to Power Rangers RPM is up on Netflix. So if you want to relive some of those memories or see, if they even hold up, catch it on there, because it's pretty amazing that they've got every single possible episode except for the ones on Samurai currently airing on Nick right now. But yeah, check them out and check out the game if you can track down a copy. Later days.